My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and you are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast. This is my conversation with the outstanding drummer, Tino Arteaga. He's from the band of Mice and Men. We're talking about two things: the new album released on January 19th, 2018 from the band called Defy, and also the band's appearance at the Download Festival, the first one ever in Australia, which was held in March in Melbourne. So let's see what Tino has to say. Here we go.
On tour with In Flames and Five Finger Death Punch. Life's awesome.
Nice, man.
happy to be able to talk to you.
Yeah,
and excited to be coming to Australia next year.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I know. Look, we are definitely excited to have you down here as well, because you are playing the Download Festival, mate. So it's the first time we've ever had Download here, actually.
Yeah, absolutely. We're so excited to be a part of the inaugural year. And, coming out there in a festival way, we've come out there for a couple of the sound waves over the years, and we're just excited to be coming with a ton of bands, and hopefully Australia is just as excited to be having us.
Yeah, mate. So almost a tie-in with the tour. I think it's out a few months before the Download Festival occurs. You do have a new album out called Defy. Tell us a little bit about the album, or can you actually? Ask. Can you tell us anything about the new album that's coming out?
Yeah, of course. We spent the better part of this last year writing it, and we came off of a huge summer festival tour where we played in front of some of our biggest fans all over the world, and it really inspired us to create this album and to create a body of work that kind of defied any limitations or subjugations that people might have had about the band, and we just kind of really wanted to hone it in and remind the Mice and Men fans why they love the Mice and Men so much with honest music, and creating just some really heavy, fun, exciting songs that we could really play in a live atmosphere, because we really love our live show and being able to really connect with our audience. That's something that a Mice and Men has always done, and I think it was important for us to try and capture that on this album, and I think we definitely did it, and we can't wait for everyone to hear it.
Yeah, fantastic. And, mate, you've been in the band a long time, so you're a foundation member of the band, and you've seen a lot of changes to the industry since you started. I think it was even back before 2008. So how have you survived countless tours, band members? So, mate, how have you survived the countless tours, band members coming and going, and the recording of 5 albums?
Music, man. It makes it all worth it. I mean, for me personally, I've been a musician since I was 4 years old. So for me, it's all I know. And thankfully, with this particular group, and it's taken, like you said, a very long time. There's so many discouragements, but music helps you through it, and it helped me through it. And I feel like being able to create something with meaning is important, and anyone should feel so inclined to try and do something like that. And for me, I learned at a young age that music would do that for me. And so in a lot of ways, it's about, sticking your head down and focusing and really buckling down and doing the work and preparing as much as you can for what may lie ahead. And the best laid plans of Mice and Men often go awry. Like, we live our band name, and we always have. And it's about facing those adversities head first and taking those challenges in stride and doing everything you can to try and learn and become a better person through it, and I think any challenges that are put forth, the way to overcome that, it starts within. And I think it's not only is it a very personal thing, but we are able to create music that kind of dictates that too, and shares that struggle and triumph with an audience. And I think that's very important. And all of my favorite artists have created music with meaning like that. And I felt like it's important for myself to be with a group and to collaborate with a group and create with a group that feels the same way. And I think you never know how long it's going to take you to find that. But through music, you will find that. I guarantee it.
So at what point did you realise that Of Mice and Men could actually be a career, if you like, or the day job?
I don't know. It's to me, it's always been that. It's never not.
Yeah.
Whether we made money or not, and I'll tell you right now, it's not. We're not. It's not like riches and mansions and no, man. Like we make enough money to pay our rent. We make enough money to, you can definitely make more money doing other things, but our payoff is being able to create and play music for an audience that understands that. And I think for myself, when I was fucking dead broke and I only had one luggage to my name that carried everything that I owned in one piece of suitcase, is how when I started and when we started this band, that's all I owned. And I couch surf and live at Phil's house, and just wherever I lay my head was where I would be. And it really does kind of like take that kind of dedication. And for myself, in my mind, I've always been having a career in music, whether I made money or not. So in a lot of ways, like it is a give and take, and it's a being an artist, being a creative person, it doesn't always materialize in a financial gain.
Yeah.
But what you gain mentally, and I think what you gain through the process, strengthens you as an individual. And I think that's, in a lot of ways, more important. And my dad is always a constant reminder whenever he talks to me about stuff like that. But he comes from a much different life than I do. I've dedicated myself to music, and it's all I've ever known. And so that's, for me, like that's what makes it a career. It's not being able to make money doing it. It's just committing yourself to it.
You might have already answered this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I think you're as good a person as any to ask the question, and that's, what advice would you give a young band that's starting out in 2017? So young guys or girls that are, say, 16, 17 or 18, and they've got the rock in their heart exactly like what you got, and they're starting out. What's a single piece of advice, or if you had 30 seconds with them, what would you say?
Focus on yourself. Challenge yourself. Focus on the music. Don't worry about likes. Don't worry about comments. That'll always be there. There will always be detractors that are going to try and dissuade you from what you truly believe. But you have to have it in your heart to know that what you're creating is real, and it's about you, and it's important, and it's not about whether people approve or disapprove of it. And I think that in this day and age, we live in an era that I didn't grow up with the internet like a lot of this new generation will grow up with it. I didn't grow up with YouTube. I couldn't just watch things that I wanted to. I had to go to the store and buy the movie, or I had to go, you know what I mean? Like, it's a totally different world that when I was coming up in music. And so I think that in this day and age, it might seem like everyone is judging you in whatever you do, but you have to really know that within your heart you have to focus on yourself and create that music that means something to you, and it will resonate with people. It just takes time, and I would just say, especially if they're trying to start a band or do anything, it's find like-minded individuals, go to more concerts, meet people while you're out doing the things that you love to do, because you will find that at those concerts there are so many like-minded individuals. And I've created most of my lifelong friends from going to concerts and growing up, seeing live music and going and being around people with similar ideologies and stuff like that. And I think it's important to be a part of a music community, well, as much as it's important to sit in your room and practice guitar or practice drums, it's also very important to get out there and see the community and see the culture, because if you're not aware of it, then you'll never understand how to make your way in it, I think. And so keep your eyes and ears open and focus on yourself, for sure.
Yeah, love the response. Thanks for that. And here's a question that I hope you get
Yeah,
asked a
of
little
course.
bit, but I imagine that you don't get asked it enough. But you are a superb drummer, and look, I'm a bass player, so I'm a card-carrying member of Team Rhythm Section. Aaron Pauly is your bassist, and now he's your front.
Right on, man.
Yeah. So I've got to sneak this question in, particularly because my podcast is musician focused. So that's why I actually selected you, mate, because you're the drummer to have a chat to. So
Oh, thank you. Yeah, cool.
yeah, so Aaron Pauly, your bassist and now frontman and vocalist, how has our dynamic changed between you and him musically, given he's now also singing? Have you had to sort of pull him aside sometimes and say, hang on a sec, you're not as tight as he used to be, or has it just been a seamless change?
Oh, no way, man. Like, it's actually very amazing how he's really come into that role. And we talk about it all the time, and it's not so much like the front man. Like, we're musicians at the end of the day, and him and I lock in. Like, it's actually really crazy. Like when you said, rhythm section, and for us, we really think of it that way. Bass and drums are a huge, that's a huge driving force of the momentum of music. And I think that, especially with Aaron, that hasn't, his bass playing hasn't changed. If anything, it's gotten better, and it's gotten tastier, and we've been able to create thicker grooves, and we really dig a lot deeper, and in a lot of ways, the music really does come first, and we think about it from a rhythm section in that way of how are we going to drive these songs? How are they going to move our audience? And in a lot of ways, especially on this album, we were able to find that type of balance, and then he was able to just lay the most amazing vocals down on top of it, and then play it all at the same damn time. It's like,
yeah, a lot of talent.
Because I even tried. I mean, like being a drummer, like I even, when the change happened and it's the four of us now, like I even was going to try screening, but I just get too into my drums that I can't remember the parts that I'm supposed to be screaming, So I was just like, you know what? I kudos to him, but it comes from muscle memory, and it comes from dedication and understanding your instrument and honing your craft, and it takes practice. Don't let anybody fool you to think that this stuff happens overnight. We rehearse all the time when we're home. Aaron and I are actually neighbors, and we jam at each other's pads all the time. And in our jam room, like this stuff does not come just pop. There it is. It takes practice. So don't. Being a musician, you have to know that it takes work, and you got to buckle down and do the work in order to see the benefits. And the benefits are being able to perform at a high caliber, and that's very important to us. And that's always been important to Mice and Men, performing at the highest caliber that we can at all times, because every performance is important. Every recording is important. It's a reflection of ourselves. And if you're a musician, then you kind of know that, and it takes that kind of dedication. And so for him, we just started putting in the work, and here we are a year later on tour with In Flames and Five Finger Death Punch, and, seeing the entire crowd get down and jump up and mosh and circle pit and crowd surf, and they get it. And it's because we've worked hard at it. And we put the time in to be able to try and create something with meaning. And with him stepping forward to do that, I feel like all of our playing has gone a lot tighter, because now we focus on the music. It's not so much about, I don't know, not that it was ever about anything weird before, but there's been a shift, and to me, I think it's a very natural and an awesome shift. Some of our favorite bands are four pieces. Like, we think Metallica, we think Slayer, we think, even as far back as the freaking Beatles,
yeah.
Everyone's playing an instrument, everyone's rocking out, everyone is doing what they love, and being able to perform this music for people everywhere, and that's that's the main goal.
Okay, so yeah, another awesome response, mate. Thank you. And I think any young musician who listens to that, and I can definitely attest to this because I'm someone who has to practice 2 or 3 times a week with the band that I'm in. You've got to get into the rehearsal studio and just go for it, haven't you? But you've also got to know your parts before you go into the rehearsal room, and then you just tighten the screws up, as I like to say, when you get into that room.
Yep, there's no faking practice. Like, you have to put the work in, and it's something that's important. And if you're a musician, you know that it just doesn't. You don't just get that. It takes work.
Absolutely.
And half of that is, it can feel like work, but if you look at it like that there is an end game, like, and that that you're working on the music that you love, and you're having fun, you can use it as fun, and you can use it as encouragement and trying to better yourself as a musician. And I think in turn, you learn a lot of discipline with music. You learn a lot about yourself when you're challenged, and being able to have other people like bandmates, or even like if you play music in a school band, like I grew up playing music in school bands. And actually, I played the saxophone for 12 years of my life, and that was my main instrument for a really long time. And it taught me discipline. It taught me how to work. I had to fight for first chair. You gotta climb up the ranks, and I think you learn a lot of discipline through music, and it's important to kind of carry that over. It's not just like, oh, I want to be in a rock band, and I'm just going to be a rock star. No, like. Nobody gets to do that. You gotta be able to make music, dude. Like, you gotta have discipline. You gotta know how to do this out here, because the phony just fall away, and the vapid and the people that are in it for the wrong reasons, they just kind of melt off, and what's left is the real musicians and all that. And so it's really important to have that kind of dedication to your craft, and know that, damn, maybe I'm not getting this part right now, but I know that I have to focus on it and work on it for a couple weeks, but you'll get it, like if you work, you will understand it. And I think it's a very important type of discipline to have.
Yeah. Another great response, and I think I've got time for one more question. So you mentioned earlier that you toured Australia. I think it was in 2013 for a run of shows on the Soundwave Festival. What are your memories of that tour and indeed Australia?
Man, so many. Like, just being able to. It's cool because, like, being a band from California and the United States, like, we tour with a lot of bands through the years, and it's always cool to, like, have our friends out there. I remember just having so many friends, and, like, we could all be like, man, we're out here in Australia. Like, this is amazing. Like, how music brought us here. Like, how crazy is that? And then one of my funniest memories was, for sure, we had played Japan right before, and I had gotten a tattoo while I was in Japan, and it got infected because being out in the festival nature and traveling and this and that, like, it just started swelling up, and it got kind of infected. And I'm there in the backstage bathroom, like, washing my leg, and Corey Taylor comes out of the stall and goes, "Wow, dude, that looks super infected."
Mate, painful.
That was the first time I had ever had any interaction with Corey Taylor, and he was just like, and my leg is in the sink, I'm like washing my tattoo, and I was just like, oh, what a way to make an impression, like. Corey fucking Taylor was just like making fun of my tattoo, and then it ended up that it was on that tour that we got to be pretty good friends with him after seeing him, and he was on the tour with Stone Sour, and then it ended up like one of our last days in Perth. We were staying at the same hotel, and we chilled at the beach like all day with him, and like went and got lunch, and like it was like a super cool hang, but like. Totally unexpected from the tattoo washing situation. So, word to the wise, if you're on a festival tour that's dirty and there's dust everywhere, watch those tattoos.
Yeah, nice one. Tino, I better end it there, mate. I could definitely ask you a ton more questions because I've certainly got more questions planned, but the good news is I might be able to catch up with you on the Download Festival because I'll be part of the media contingent down there.
Absolutely. Hey, I would love that, man. And anytime I can talk about music or anytime I can, talk with another musician or another music lover, dude, I love it.
It's great.
A community out here, and it's important to be able to share the knowledge. And in a lot of ways, like, I don't have answers, I don't have anything. I just know what I've experienced, and I have no problem being able to share that with anybody who's willing to sit there and listen. So, to all the people tuning in, if you love music, follow it, and if it's your passion, dedicate yourself to it. It's important.
Yeah, fantastic advice, and mate, and look, congratulations on a wonderful career and on your stellar drumming, and good luck with the rest of the tour, and hopefully we can catch up down here in March for the Download Festival.
Absolutely, man. Thank you so much. Defy comes out January 19th worldwide. 12 songs of absolute madness. Listen to that front to back. Get the vinyl, get the artwork. We spent a lot of time working on this album, and we really hope that everyone enjoys it as much as we do.
I think they will, mate. I think they will, particularly because of your enthusiasm for it. That counts for a lot these days, mate. So well done again.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, brother. All
Thank
the best.
you, guys.
No worries. Cheers.
All right, man. Take care.
You are listening to the Scars and Guitars podcast. My name is Andrew Mackay-Smith, and that was my conversation with Tino Arteaga, the outstanding drummer and percussionist for the band Of Mice and Men. Thanks so much for listening.